Okay, so I took the piece of paper off, it had been folded over, and then I cut it out just so that it's easy to see. So when you're working, you always want to have some kind of picture to work from. And I'm happy to print you another copy that doesn't have like pen and ink writing all over it, so it's all easier to see. But what I did was on the areas where I felt like it was darker, I kind of did a little squiggly stuff, like in there, right? And you can see that even on mine, like I messed up slightly because I hadn't already taped it. And so it scooted over a little bit. So you can see I have a little bit of like a double image here. And so I'll fix that as I go. But to start, I'm going to start shading in the areas where I had done like that. And then I'm going to use just a number 2 regular pencil. I don't like mechanical pencils. I do and I don't. We have like a love-hate relationship. I really don't want you to use a mechanical pencil. It's just too easy to press super hard. Just a number 2 is perfect. And if you have fancy drawing pencils like an HB or a 2B would be great. So with the pencils, B is going to mean bold. So some of you guys are going to have like H, F, B pencils. And I really only use the B pencils personally. I'm coloring it at slightly a diagonal. And I don't know why, but I like to color in kind of like circles. You could totally do, just some kind of diagonal lines that kind of go back and forth. But I like circles. So I'm doing all the shadowy parts first to build up a little bit of pigment. And then I'm going to use my handy dandy blending tool, which is like the coolest thing ever. Okay, so get all the areas first where you did the little squiggles to leave yourself breadcrumbs where you're like, oh right, those have to be shadow. And don't feel bad too if you have to make adjustments on your drawing. I had to fix a few things after I pulled that paper off. So it's okay. It's okay to make adjustments. And yours doesn't have to be like perfectly identical. So there's somewhat of a shadow here, but I don't know that I want to make it maybe quite as dark as like kind of the creases in the cone. Look, it's already kind of coming together. Like, can you see it? Maybe a little shading in this middle section. So you just slowly are building up some layers, because even like in the bar of this like band of shadow here, there is a darker spot on the top as the ice cream folds over and blocks light. Okay, so I have this really cool blending tool. I'm gonna smudge it a little bit to clean it off some. Because it looks like it already has some pretty dark graphite on it. And I can decide later if I want to use this section or if I want to cut this paper down on the cutting board. Maybe this becomes kind of a smoky background. So then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start to try to blend, because what I'm kind of concerned about is when we did the transfer, it's like you have lines of pencil and you want things to be soft, like you don't have actual lines on the ice cream per se, you know, it's like we want it to be soft. Do you see how there's kind of a stark line here that's kind of heavy? So what I'm going to do is take my eraser, because we want it to be just like so natural and like look realistic as we can. Okay, that already looks much better. So this is called a blending stump. You can get them at Michael's. They usually come in a pack of varying sizes, or Hobby Lobby. You could probably order them on Amazon or even Walmart. And then you can pull a little color off. And then really on this part of the ice cream, rather than coloring with my pencil, I'm just going to like gently add a little bit of shadow. And so rather than it being like perfectly white, it's going to be a little bit gray. And then I think I'm going to go back. I should have made this darker. So I think it's looking pretty great. I'm going to let you work a little bit. And then we can come back to kind of what I've gotten done. We'll work on the cone. The cone of it next.